I'm Aaron Sagers, and this is Talking Strange. Hey there, spooky nerds, and welcome to Talking Strange, the paranormal pop culture podcast and YouTube show. And as always, I'm your host, Aaron Sagers. And, well, you know the drill. I've been traveling around. I meet with lots of different people out there, getting their perspective on all things spooky in my adventures. And I'm always asking you guys to submit some stories, and you do. You follow through. I appreciate that. So even though a lot of times interviewing authors, researchers, celebrities on Talking Strange, I get a thrill out of sharing the stories that you share with me. And we're going to get to that. I'm going to actually share a couple stories for this episode, and we'll get back to the regular interviews soon enough. But before I do, I wanted to tell you guys, well, obviously I do a lot of events out there in addition to other adventures, and you can keep up with my events through the aaronsagers.com site. There's a section there that shows where I will be headed to and appearing. And if you see me out there, come say hi, come share a story. And you could also reach out to me on social media. You know the drill. That's all shared at the end of the show in the footer, in the episode footer. But I also want to tell you that if you're not aware of it, I am hosting the Spooky Explorers Club #2 with Sarah Maciel. And Spooky Explorers Club, we did it last year at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And the idea is for this to be a spooky, not so scary, paranormal-ish event at Walt Disney World, where last year we did the Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, and this year we are doing the Magic Kingdom and Epcot, and it's happening September 18th to 21st, 2025. And if you head to spookyexplorersclub.com, you'll be able to check out all the information on that and inquire within about some details, and maybe even sign up if you're interested. And it's going to be an intentionally intimate, small affair with a cap of only 20 people, 20 explorers. And when you join us, we're going to be doing some spooky talks, some not so scary talks about the paranormal, about some lore, about Disney. And then we're we're doing a tiki bar takeover, a permanent vacation tiki bar in Orlando, Florida, one night. And then we are going to be heading to the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party another night, and then also doing some talks and lectures about legends and lore. And then we're going to be doing more parties, and then heading to Epcot for a spirited walk around the world showcase, where we'll be talking about some legends and lore from different locations, different countries, and, if you want to perhaps supplement that with an adult beverage or not an adult beverage, you could do that. So it'll be spirited and spirited. It'd be spirits and spirits. And also, I'm excited to say that one of the guests we're going to have joining us is Ting Rappa. And Ting is from AmericanGhostAdventures.com. That is very strongly not to be confused with U.S. Ghost Adventures, which is a whole different organization that I cannot support. But American Ghost Adventures, Ting runs that. It's a ghost walk and tour of downtown Orlando, but Ting has had a couple decades of paranormal research and investigation, but she also works as a firefighter and an EMT at some pretty magical places, let's say, in Orlando area. She'll be joining the Spooky Explorers Club this year to share her stories and insight about being a firefighter and EMT, as well as a paranormal researcher, and as well as being a woman in the field who was also raised Buddhist. She has an incredible story. So head to AmericanGhostAdventures.com to learn more about Ting. You'll be hearing more about her in the near future, but also check out the SpookyExplorersClub.com website to join us on that event. It's going to be, you don't have to be a hardcore fan of the paranormal. You just have to be into some spooky times and some fun times and sharing stories and having really a community event. Okay, so let's get to it. So, I needed to catch up on some listener mail, and that's what we're going to do. I'm going to share a story, first off, from Mike Archer. I know Mike. Mike's a great guy. I've seen him at a lot of events. He also hangs out with us over on the Patreon, the Geeky Creepy Tiki Travels, patreon.com/Aaron Sagers. And Mike shared with me, he emailed with a story about Virginia City, a place that I love, that I've talked about a lot even recently. So this is his story on Virginia City experiences. I was just recently there with the Reno Tahoe Territory. So I think that's what led to Mike sharing this story. And now I'm sharing it with you. Okay, Mike Archer. Afternoon, Aaron and fellow great weirdos. Growing up, I remember a family trip going through Virginia City. At some point, my family and I stopped in town and got some candy and ice cream, and of course, a meal to go with that. Fast forward to 2022, and my other twin daughter, who was living in Oklahoma with the ex-wife, wanted to move out to Washington with me and her sister. Gladly, I made the trek to Oklahoma, stayed a couple days, and then hit the road back to Washington. Along that route, we took a route leading us through Virginia City, and I felt like I had lived there all my life. Many people have said that they have had that exact same feeling, and it is a big reason why they go back or live there full time. Well, last November, when the opportunity presented itself for a spooky Paracon type event, I jumped at the chance to attend ComCon. And side note, this is Aaron. That is the put on by Soul Circle Paranormal, and you could check that out. They have another event coming up, but that's the ComCon, Paracon. Anyway, back to Mike. The first night meet and greet in the Washoe Club ballroom was awesome. I saw Heather Taddy and immediately started playing catch up since the last time we saw each other and hung out was at the Las Vegas Paracon in 2020. While talking to her with my back towards the main entrance to the ballroom, I felt a strong tap on my right shoulder. I moved left close to Taddy and turned, and no one was there. Taddy asked me what had just happened, and if I recall, she said she had already had a few experiences that night. That same night, I scheduled a photo shoot with the amazing Allie Cotton. We went to different parts of the back rooms on the second floor. We took many pictures. Not once were we bothered by any of the attendees for the event. It was just Allie and myself the whole time. A couple weeks after the event, Allie emailed me stating my photos were ready and that one in particular caught her eye, but she left it up to me to guess why. I went through the photos and selected the top three I wanted, one of which was the photo she mentioned. Immediately, I saw something in the reflection of the mirror, and it's almost transparent. My opinion is that it appears to be an old cowboy with a hat and trench coat, and they have a glove on in the shape of a fist. It's almost like what I imagine would be a pallbearer in that time. The reflection puts it directly in between Allie and I. I responded back to Allie, and she was excited that in all her years of photography, especially at paranormal events, that she may have actually caught something. I also loved the first investigation we did, which was in the haunted back rooms with you, that's me, Aaron, and Heather. We had our recorders on, and everyone was in a circle and introduced themselves. And on one recorder, footsteps and slight talking could be heard. On my DR60, you could hear the footsteps and the voice, and as it got to me, it was louder. It was almost as if the spirit was face to face and walking in a circle as each person introduced themselves. I couldn't make out what the spirit said, but he responded to each person in the room. Truly amazing and such a great experience. I'm looking forward to heading back to Virginia City with the help of Allie. He's going to try to recreate and debunk whatever had happened. As a firm believer in the paranormal since age 3, I'm definitely going to say it was a cowboy spirit. Thanks for your time and see you soon. And thank you, Mike Archer. Thanks for sharing that story. And we'll post a picture that Mike sent over on the Patreon, so check it out over there. And indeed, I do recall that night, Heather Taddy from Paranormal State Extraterrestrial Highway and the Travel to the Dead show on YouTube with Katrina Weidman. I've been on that show, and I love them both. I love Heather, and that was a crazy night. I do recall actually, and those experiences. I know exactly what Mike was talking about. We were Lots of stuff was happening that night, and we were hearing boot steps and we were hearing whispers and whatnot, and the night only got crazier from there. Taddy and I have talked about it a lot. I've shared it in other locations, but we we were in that area, eventually joined by Shane Pittman of the Holzer Files and 28 Days Haunted, and Bootsteps were plodding along in a very purposeful manner above us when no one else was in the building. We saw some shadowy forms. I saw this small, diminutive, shadowy form in what was called the poker room. Crazy, crazy stuff. So I always like hearing stories from Virginia City. So thank you, Mike Archer. Okay, let's switch it up to perhaps a UFO story. And this comes to us from Chad Gronowski. Now, Chad, I will say, is someone else that I've known on the scene for a very long time. And he has a lot of great stories, a great person to talk to, also is a bit of a treasure hunter himself. And Chad also joins us over on the Patreon. And he sent in this story, which was from the Oneida Lake in New York, UFO lights from May 28th, 1997. Here we go. I would like to recount an extraordinary event that I, along with hundreds of others, witnessed in May 1997 over Oneida Lake, New York. This sighting bore a remarkable resemblance to the well-known Phoenix Lights incident that occurred in Arizona just a few months prior. Notably, one of the formations we observed was identical to those reported in Phoenix. On the nights of May 28th and 29th, 1997, I observed mysterious lights in the sky that formed various patterns similar to the Phoenix Lights. The number of lights fluctuated between 3 and 12, and they appeared in distinct formations. My family and I recorded more than 3 hours of footage, which was later featured in a local news segment. This footage attracted the attention of researchers and was submitted to the production company behind Fox's Greatest UFOs Ever Recorded. Additionally, MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, conducted an extensive investigation. And a link to the original news broadcast has been provided as well. So we have those links. The lights were so intense that they were visible as far away as Ogdensburg, New York, a location nearly 3 hours from Oneida Lake. The sheer brightness was astonishing. An excerpt from the original MUFON report highlights the investigators' reaction. Quote, what they videotaped bears a striking resemblance to the Phoenix formations. When a copy of their tape was sent to veteran UFO investigators Bill Hamilton and Tom King in Phoenix, they were astounded by the quality and duration of Gronowski's sightings. The signature formation, around 7 lights in a row, closely matches the signature formation from Phoenix and has amazed all parties who have studied it, including former NASA scientist Richard Hoagland. Veteran investigator Tom King even suggested that the tape was so impressive he brought it to the attention of Robert Kiviat Productions, and that is who produced the Fox's Greatest UFOs Ever Recorded. Okay, back to Chad's letter. Following the sighting, multiple residents, myself included, noticed a black unmarked helicopter flying low over the area. The aircraft, equipped with a large disc-like device on its underside and featuring black tinted windows, was seen by at least 6 individuals. As the helicopter flew over our homes, it caused unusual disturbances with electronics inside. Despite inquiries to local military and air bases, officials denied the presence of any such helicopters in the vicinity. The aircraft was estimated to be flying just 200 feet above the treetops. Shortly after the news reports and footage release, I experienced a deeply unsettling event in my home. One night, I awoke to find a tall man standing beside my bed. He appeared to be approximately 6'6" tall, wearing a striped black and white dress shirt, black pants, and a distinctive top hat. In a calm, almost hypnotic voice, he repeatedly said, "You know what I want." When I asked what he meant, he replied, "The tape." Throughout the encounter, I felt unusually tranquil, almost sedated, with no immediate sense of fear. However, when my dog stirred in the bedroom, The man fled. I chased after him, but upon reaching the door, I suddenly emerged from the trance-like state and questioned whether the entire experience had been real. That summer, I fell mysteriously ill. Despite extensive testing, doctors were unable to diagnose my condition. I experienced jaundice, severe weakness, and sharp pains in my side. After a week of inconclusive tests, my doctor considered hospitalizing me for further evaluation. On the morning of my appointment, something truly bizarre occurred. While showering, I stepped out to find a perfectly clear, unfogged half face of what appeared to be a gray alien on the bathroom mirror. The rest of the mirror remained fogged. Startled, I ran from the bathroom and noticed that the windows were open, with the blinds violently slamming back and forth. Overcome with shock, I collapsed. Upon recovering and visiting the hospital, doctors informed me that my jaundice had mysteriously disappeared and my levels had returned to normal. I was discharged with no further issues. Interestingly, following the UFO sightings, my father also experienced unusual sensations, including persistent loud humming noises in his ears and a peculiar vibration that would periodically overtake his body. I hope this account provides insight into the strange and unexplainable events I had witnessed. Although unrelated to the 1997 event, I have experienced recurring episodes throughout my life that I believe correlate with these events. As a child, I frequently woke to a blue glow emanating from my bedroom door, accompanied by two dark figures standing in the doorway. They would instruct me to get dressed, though I remember nothing more from these encounters. This pattern persisted for years, and on one occasion, a roommate discovered me standing fully dressed in the living room in a trance-like state, unaware of how I got there. I believe these visitations ceased after I adopted my first dog. In UFO and alien visitation lore, it is commonly believed that, quote, visitors avoid dogs as dogs are highly sensitive to their presence. After getting married, moving into our first home, and adopting a dog, one of our earliest nights in the house involved an unsettling experience. Our dog stood at the foot of, of our bed, his hair bristling as he growled menacingly towards the bedroom doorway. After checking the house, I found nothing unusual, and my dog remained unusually alert. He never reacted that way again. Since adopting a dog, I have not experienced another blue glow encounter that I am aware of, and I attribute this to the presence of my canine companion. Thank you for taking the time to read my story. And thank you, Chad. Thanks for sharing that. That is crazy. That is, I mean, crazy, not that it's crazy, but man, just such a crazy story. And I'm curious what you guys think about it, or if you've ever had any experiences like that. It does sound like it has a lot of markers of your classic UFO abductee and experiencer types of stories. And you can look up the Lake Oneida footage online, and we'll be sharing more of this on the Patreon. So, where are your stories? Send them in to me. I want to hear and come share them at the upcoming events that I'm doing, which again you can check out on aaronsagers.com under the appearances. And don't hesitate, you know? This is not a spot where we will judge you for the stories. I just want to hear them. So, with that said, gonna close out this week. This episode of Talking Strange, sharing your strange stories. And as always, reach out to me. Okay, I'm Aaron Sagers. This has been Talking Strange. Until next time, be kind, stay spooky, and keep it weird.